or all links of dependent origination and strongly correlates with the mental functions. And then another part is Namarupa. Namarupa or mentality and materiality as an psychophysical mechanism. So in this part we can understand that Buddha said about Namarupa, Chakkum cha paticha rupecha, Chakku Viyanam Tinnang Sangiti Paso. It means Namarupa may be understood as a psychophysical organism or a phenomenal body consisting of cognitive and physical components. I'm sorry that I don't have enough time to discuss more, but I'm going to conclusion directly. When we look at the doctrine of dependent origination, it is evident from the foregoing research that it provides the framework of Buddhist psychology. The psychological aspect of dependent origination draws a clear picture of the constituents from the law of causation and analyzes the mental states and motivational factors behind each constituent. The main links from the doctrine of dependent origination provide a framework of for psychological analysis through volitional formation, consciousness, mentality and materiality, contact, feeling, craving, and clinging. The notion of perception can be found in the function of volitional formation, a contributing factor according to modern psychology, in the role of understanding human motivation. In fact, Buddhist teaching proves that both volitional formation and perception are functionally constructed and conditioned in a similar way. The mental quality, consciousness, reveals the various states of mind. Mentality and materiality are defined as a psychophysical mechanism, a mutual dependency between mind and body. Contact manifests through a sense organ in relationship to an object and sensation of an object. Feeling clarifies the expression of pleasure, painful and neutral sensation and manifests an approximate mental sensation. The process of craving, tanha, and clinging, upadana, drive the psychological motivation of the mind and its ongoing stimulation for attaching to desired objects. The psychological analysis of dependent origination expounds the concept of personality, highlighting present existence through the interrelationship of the five faculties or panchakanda from their form, feeling, perception, volitional formation, and consciousness. Moreover, the psychological concept of motivational factors can be expounded by the doctrine of dependent origination with its mainstream constituent from contact, feeling, craving, clinging, and advocates the taproot of suffering, dukkha, which continually multiplies through attaching to objects of desire and the tendency of clinging. In conclusion, the doctrine of dependent origination skillfully explains the psychological aspect of the nature of suffering. It proves the framework for understanding the nature of the mind while establishing the possibility of liberation or nibbana from the rotated cycle samsara. Mental factor, the 12-fold constituents, the five faculties, motivation and personality factors, create a psychological foundation for understanding the function of the mind through a process of dependent origination. Wise attention, yoniso manasikara, and clear comprehension of these significant elements guide and tame the mind along the path of liberation, and that is Nibbana. Thank you very much for all of your kind attention.
Thank you so much. Then I would like to invite the commentator to give the presenter recommendations.
In my opinion, too much details regarding these topics. Psychological aspects in the doctrine of dependent origination. In reality, the 12 links of dependent origination are the main factors regarding psychology in reality. But you try to make the topics more interesting. So you use psychological aspects of the doctrine of dependent origination. regarding the details, regarding explanation of each links in dependent origination, no problem. You give more clear-cut explanation of each links already here. But in my opinion, based on these topics, which one you should focus is the concept of consciousness, I think. Only the concept of consciousness. You write here already, when you set up the subtitle consciousness, you set as a sense of medium. You use the two key terms, mentality and materiality already. These two terms should be focused. When you talk about the consciousness here, it's just the perception or just the clear apprehension of the phenomena or the mind inside. The mind who transmigrated from birth to birth, something like that. This one you should focus. The contents in your article actually is not really went with the topics of the article. For this content, the topic should be critical study of the doctrine of dependent origination. I think enough. No need to use the psychological aspect. If you like this topic, you have to focus on the concept of consciousness. As the first comment. The second one is the researcher provide too many pages for definitions and explanation. And sometimes I got the idea already, but after reading more a little bit, I got confusion because you have to try to put the critical idea between explanation, definition, and explanation, something like that. No need to make the confusion for the reader. I think just simple explanation is enough. I think enough. Because based on this topic, no need to give maybe the critical idea from other people. Because when we talk about the concept of dependent origination, Avijja Sankhara Vinyan is clear already. But some scholars put the comment on the concepts of consciousness. Avijja Sankhara Vinyana Namarupa. Vinyana and Namarupa. Interaction with interrelation with each other. Vinyana here is mean the six vinyana or only the mind or citta. Namarupa, when we talk about Namarupa, Nama is covered only Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara or Vinyana, something like that. And Rupa, it means the Rupa in the five aggregates or any other thing, something like that. It should be like that, in my opinion. But it's okay, no problem. It can be academic article.
Okay, for my comment about your articles, I would like to share with you about psychology aspect or psychological aspect or psychology. Always for research and writer also often use Buddhist science or Buddhist psychology. What is the Buddhist psychology in this? Otherwise, they will think everything the Buddha teach that is psychology, or what is that? Or if we would like to put the branch of psychology about this Buddhist psychology, what is that branch?
Well,
This
Buddha-
is like okay.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is like a Sigmund Freud or Jung or any one, or this is another. If you would like to present, this is another branch or the Buddhist psychology, and put the new thing. Okay, this is one of my opinion and my comment. Choose realize about that. And the second one is, when we talk about dependent origination, there are two ways, onward and backward. You have to teach, you have to talk all. At the end of your paper, talking about conclusion, you said this is nature of suffering. No, you have to use another words also, the and nature of the end of suffering. Both. Or if you would like to use this is psychology for end of suffering, that is the Buddha's psychology. Something like this. I would like to comment about this. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for my commentation. Is I have to share with you that I have no time enough to read on of your paper, and then but when I read your paper, but not 100%. But when I read it, what I found from your paper, what I found from your paper is, it look like you try to explain about the dependent origination in one way only, because of actually in the Buddhist history, the Lord Buddha, he realized the dependent origination not only one side. If you read the Buddhist history, right, you will find that after the Lord Buddha, he got enlightenment on the first week. In first week, after he got enlightenment, the Lord Buddha, he spent his time to enjoy with bliss of emancipation on the first week, right? And then in this first week, when the Lord Buddha, he realized the dependent origination, he not realized dependent origination or dependent origination in one side. In one side, it means how that dependent origination arise. He not only realized it, but he also realized that how to destroy the dependent origination and so, right? But in your paper, what I found, it look like you try to show just only one side of dependent origination. That's it. How that dependent origination concern about the psychology. But in my point of view, not only one side. Only one side, it means the way of arising of dependent origination, right? Suppose because of avijja or ignorance, right? And then sankhara arise, right? But actually, not only one side. After you know how does the dependent origination arise, and then the Lord Buddha realize that how to destroy it. I need you show two sides of them, because in my point of view, not only the way of arising concern about the psychological aspect, but also the way of extinction also concerns about the psychological aspect and so. This is my commentation for your academic paper, because I didn't see the way of extinction, because as I informed you, right, not only know how that dependent originations are like, but you have to know also how to destroy. Yes, dependent origination. If you mention or you clear the both sides of dependent originations right it, I think your paper may be very useful then right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ajahns and commentators, for all of your valuable comments. So I would like to 1 minute take time about to explain about Buddhist psychology. So psychology is talking about the study of the mind, but Buddhist psychology, in my viewpoint, not only talking about the study of the mind, but also talking about how to eradicate, how I mean giving some solution. That is my opinion. And it is not the new. I think Buddhist psychology is now start to practice from Miss Rhys Davids' term, Pali PTS. They started that term, Miss Rhys Davids and PTS group. Nearly 100 years ago, they started the term Buddhist psychology. So I think this is maybe under Buddhist psychology. So this is my opinion, and thank you very much, Ajahns and respected commentators, and all of you for kind attention.
So may I give my deep respect to Professor Dr. Parat Pariyat Kavi to bestow the certificate presentation. So by the way, if any participant have any question, you can show your hand. Oh, okay.
Actually, this is not a question, but regarding teaching Pratitya Samutpada, there is one sutta in Nidana Samyukta which says wrong teaching. The title of the sutta is wrong teaching. There Buddha discusses how it should be taught, not from the forward way, but to the other way, starting from dukkha until avijja. Thank you.
I request the researcher answer this question. Okay, the researcher request you to ask him again because he cannot clear your question. He not clear about your question. Please speak louder because he cannot clear your question query. Please again.
In Nidana Samyukta, there is one sutta called wrong teaching. In that, the Buddha says the order must be backwards, not forwards.
Actually, I still did not get this point, but what I understood that to describe dependent origination is very hard to describe people like us, like we are still Putujana, exactly, and we can explain many ways. So at the onset, I mentioned that those who really understood that the doctrine of dependent origination, they really can seize the truth, and those who can seize the truth, they can understand or realize the doctrine of dependent origination that mentioned by the Buddha himself. I think I pass this question to my respected commentators and my Ajahn.
I don't know he can answer your question or not. Not question. No, cannot answer his question, right? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. He just not question, just give
Thank
some
you very much.
comment or some information to the researcher only. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And then for the third presenter, I would like to invite Balangoda Ananda Manjusri, entitled Satipatthana Sutta for Millennials. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected venerables and dear scholars and Dhamma friends. excuse me for dear native English speaker, excuse me for ruining your language for a few minutes. And when I got an invitation, an email, like from one of our Dhamma friend who volunteers in BIA, Paco. So he mentioned this thing, and am I interested in writing a paper for this very event? Then I was like, yes, why not? I would like to. And then, since this is Ajahn Buddhadasa's 111th birth anniversary celebration, I started thinking, okay, I should present something. What I learned from Ajahn Buddhadasa's character, from his teachings, I also should start like kind of an invention. I don't know whether I succeed. It's just a try. Now I feel like, since this morning, after all these talks from Ajahn Santikaro and all these people, I'm like, since just the beginning of my paper is Pali jargon. It's like Satipatthana itself is like nobody would interested in like reading, because the word itself, like no one, like it's not catchy. Instead I could have used something else. For example, like mindfulness to mindfulness. Like there are like two mindfulness, like with one with double L and one with simple L. The mind which is full of stuff, that's mindfulness, and then the mind which is calm and observing, it is mindfulness. So in my paper, I would like to express like very simple techniques, not going into like very academic levels, because these days I started collecting all the books written in Sinhalese about this particular sutra. So I found 17 books already written by various masters, and I got like 3 books written in English. So since I was doing, learning this sutra, then I decided to bring it to the like millennials. Like the Thai word is pampi. I don't know exactly what. But for the people who are born between 1982 and 2004 are considered millennials. So I am one of them. So why these people, or the millennials, why do I specify them? Because of their addiction to the technology. Most of us, maybe the older people, they have no idea what it is like when you get these technologies. But for this generation, they are too much addicted, and they are waiting for that thing. And even for like Dhamma talks, like even for like this teaching, I'm just thinking, this is my thought, like we should put like in numbers, like Satipatthana number 1, and after next year we should introduce it like Satipatthana number 2, like in Apple iPhone number 7 and then 8. When the number goes high, people get more interested. So this could be one thing. So why I'm thinking this way, even though this sutra is very important, the way it was presented to the society in my culture was not very eye-catching. I remember my experience when I was young. When I saw the first book on Satipatthana, I was scared to look at it. Because in the first page, what you see is like skulls and bones. So I don't see that when you're presenting something, some Dhamma talk, something special to the younger generation, it should be catchy, like with the catchy phrases or maybe nice pictures. So that's why I took like from Ajahn Buddhadasa what he says about like how people are like beautiful things. So I decided to take some quotes. I'm not going to read them from the paper. from Ajahn Buddhadasa. So I'll go to the sutra. So in the Sutra of Mindfulness, so Satipatthana, way of mindfulness, which has shown like 21 different meditation techniques. But whenever the younger generation who are below 35, think about meditation, we think, something to do with Buddhism, and where you have to go and sit and spend time. So instead, in Satipatthana, what you can see, it is not something that you have to go and sit and meditate. That's a formal system. But still, there are ways that you can take meditation as a part of your life. Every moment is a meditation. So, which starts with Kaya Anupassana, which is Kaya in this case, not the body. You know, some teachers say it's body, but it's a breathing, breathe in and breathe out. This whole process is called Kaya in Pali. So, which start with the breathing.